Hey everybody, today is August 28th, 2019. In this video, we're going to talk about the death of race car driver Jessi Combs at the young age of 39, who is said to have passed away while attempting the land speed record. Now in this video, we're going to talk about the language of numerology with a focus on the language of Gematria, or the ancient practice of coding numbers into words. A very simple numeric system that numbers the alphabet 1 through 26. Pythagorean or reduction gematria, using the rules of numerology to reduce each double-digit number to a single digit. And when compared to the calendar, we find some pretty wild alignments. And when you look at the numerology, it's impossible not to speculate that this woman, assuming her death was real, which we all are at this point, that she would have been set up to have died on this date as a sacrifice. And we'll explain how this works. So in the alphabetic order, the name Combs sums to 52. C the third letter, O the 15th, M the 13th, and so on. And when we're talking about numerology, no puzzle is complete without the inclusion of prime numbers. And you'll see here on the calculator, you can see the 52nd prime number is 239. This woman's death fell on August 27th, yesterday. And August 27th is the 239th day of the year. Now, when we look up the Wikipedia page of Jessi Combs, we find that she was born on July 27th of 1980, which means if we measure from the date that she was born to the date of this accident where she died, we find she was exactly 2,039 weeks old. I'm sorry, not exactly. A couple days passed. Nonetheless, the number 239 there. And again, using the alphabetic order, race car driver Jessi Combs, as she's called in this CNN headline, race car driver Jessi Combs, has an ordinal value of 239. It all lines up a little bit too perfectly. Now, there's a couple of other forms of gematria that we look at. And what I found was interesting is that this same phrase, using capital letters, this Francis Bacon gematria, also seemingly very significant. Notice she has gematria of 317. And in the alphabetic order, fastest woman on four wheels equals 317. So you can see how they code that in there several times. Now, when we're talking about sacrifices, there's a code that these sacrifices are being carried out by. And with numerology, gematria, and date numerology, we always see alignments with the eclipse crucifixion code. Now, in the New Testament, 3 of the 4 Gospels tell us that Jesus was crucified under a sky of darkness, and many people believe this was a solar eclipse. So, in my videos, I measure to the most recent and next total solar eclipses after each event, and the alignments that we find are always pretty significant. This woman's death fell 3 months and 17 days before the date of the next total solar eclipse, which is December 14th. And again, fastest woman on four wheels, 317, just like her name with capital letters. Now, 317 is also a prime number. Notice here how it's the 66th prime number. Next year's total solar eclipse falls on a date with 66 numerology. And the name Jessi Combs, using the reverse alphabetic order, equals 66. Now, if we instead measure to the most recent total solar eclipse, which was just on the date July 2nd, last month, see how it's 1 month and 25 days? She was a race car driver, which equals 125 in the alphabetic order. We also see how this 125 and 226 connects to sacrifice and race car driver Jessi Combs in a couple of our other ciphers, the reverse order and Frank Baconis, which also uses capital letters. And, think about this. We just mentioned how her death was aligned with the 2020 total solar eclipse. Remember the 3 months and 17 days. So it makes sense that she dies in relation to the 2020 eclipse. Race car driver Jessi Combs in Jewish gematria, we looked at the significance of 239 to start the video. Well, in Jewish gematria, this sums to 2020. And her death in alignment with that 2020 eclipse. The name Jessi Combs sums to 33 and 156. And the 156 here really stands out because eclipses only and always occur once every 1, 5, or 6 lunar phases. And in Hebrew gematria, the word eclipse equals 156. In English, eclipse equals 33, just like Jessi Combs. So again, this all relating to the story of Jesus, who was crucified at the age of 33, the gematria of eclipse. Also, think about how 33 equals 156. Now, Jesus in the alphabetic order equals 74. Jesus Christ has this 74 value in reverse. The words cross, gospel, Messiah, parables, all 74 in ordinal. And what's so interesting is that Jessi Combs died in Oregon, which is the only state in the Union that has gematria of 74 in ordinal. And Oregon is the 33rd state. OR equals 33 in the alphabetic order. There's also seems to be a little circle riddle here as well, because 74 is a number that connects to the Greek isopsephy of circle, which I do believe is significant. Jessi Combs has the 360 in prime numbers, the number of degrees in a circle. And notice how land speed record, which is what she was trying to attempt when she died, see how it sums to 143 ordinal, just like Alvord Desert, where she died. See this? Alford Desert? Breaking the land speed record? And finally, this is one of those moments where I play with numbers, I guess. But notice how Jessi Combs has this value of 464 and 969. And I've long been a proponent that there's some kind of mystical connection between 4s and 9s because they don't look that terribly dissimilar. And when she died, she was exactly 469 months old. So, again, call me crazy, but I find that to be a kind of an interesting alignment there. So I know not a whole lot of people live here because we got Zach's live stream going on right now. And hello, Gabriel, the first person in the chat saying I'm gay. Thank you very much, buddy. Appreciate that. Yeah, for anybody who was talking about, the beef with Hubbard and I don't have a beef with the guy. He takes things into beefs sometimes with people, it seems. For anyone who's interested about that, I called into TFR tonight. I'm not going to make videos where I call someone names behind my computer, so we talked, we hashed most things out. I pretty much said everything I wanted to say. I guess if there's anything that I didn't get off my chest, I saw that some of the people there were making comments about how I was riding Zach's coattails and whatnot. And, for anyone who thinks I'm in this for the money, you guys couldn't pick a worse candidate for that. Like, my website gets 10,000 hits a day. My blog gets 500. My YouTube channel has 10,000 subscribers. You've never seen an advertisement. You've never seen me ask for money. It doesn't happen. So if I wanted money, if that's what I was in this for, I would have done that a long time ago. I'm in this for the love of gematria. I love what I've discovered and what I think it reveals about our reality, which to me is a much more beautiful picture than the mainstream media paints. And And, regardless of who's supporting me, I don't need anyone's support to do this. I'm going to be making these videos regardless, whatever people are saying about me. So, I had an opportunity pop up with Anarchadelphia. And, it sucks that whatever fell through between him and Pat happened, because we were going to have like 2 Gematria workshops there. And, this time I did not decide to cancel because Hubbard canceled. I've been around for a few years, and it's not like Hubbard gets along with a whole lot of people. So, were there douchey things said? Was everything done like it should have been? Probably not. Maybe not. I don't care. I don't get involved in it. And I just want to talk about this lovely thing of Gematria. So, I appreciate your guys' support. I mean, again, every decoder does something differently. And that's what's so awesome about this, is you can look up content from different people and still get new information from each video. You can look at astrology at Bobby's channel. Chigozi always has fascinating alignments with his finds. Zach's always going to find the key riddle. And then, you come to my channel, you hear about the eclipse code. And, I mean, this is a code that proves itself every time I decode a death, just about. I mean, at least once or twice a week, we get a major alignment. So, like I said, my whole thing is like, until I stop learning, I'll keep doing it out. Does it freak me out that they're using the 333 price tag? That's an interesting question. I talked with Pat on the interview, and if you listen to the interview, there was a point where he talks about sorcery and how he likes to use numbers to manifest things in his life. And my take on it is that I'm not against it if you do that, as long as your goals in using that sorcery are positive and are for good. If you're using it just for your own gain, well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with making money. I don't necessarily see anything wrong with that either. As long as you're not harming anybody with it or deceiving someone or putting any negative energy out there, I guess I don't really have anything wrong with it. It's not my thing. Look, I wouldn't call myself a classical Christian, but I am a believer in God, in Jesus Christ, and I just don't really do any of that stuff. It doesn't interest me. So when he talked about that, I was like, yeah, I don't do that. I let things happen naturally by the numbers. That's great. So, am I weirded out by it? Not really. I mean, I understand that people have an understanding that occultists are using numbers. So if they're using numbers, why can't we? And I'm not really against that. So I get why it weirded you out. And if you're new to this, and you're new to this world of numerology and just finally understanding that, I understand why it weirds you out. As far as the full moon goes, to me that's kind of cool. I was born under a full moon, or at least the morning after a full moon, and the moon was at the tip of the spear on Sagittarius. So the moon is very special to me, and the fact that I will be doing my speech on the date of a full moon is awesome. It'll be 101 days after my birthday. And this is part of the reason I reached out in the first place. The convention begins on the 13th, which is when I'll be speaking, and that's 101 days after my birthday. And not only does Philadelphia equal 101 in ordinal, but the name of this convention is Anarchadelphia, which is 101. So I am already like through the matrix somehow connected to this event, and here it is, first time I get to go boots on the ground and talk about Gematria. So you can look at all that stuff, and what you got to realize is that the fact that they used some numbers to build this event may have had something to do with how these things come together. I don't know. That's just speculation. So Dave Hansen says it's truth-ertainment, and well, maybe that's true. And look, part of the reason I reached out to Pat to see if I could maybe speak there is because the ticket was so expensive. I thought I could also contribute to this convention in addition to attending, and I think my contributions will be worthy. So, whatever. I mean, if that's your take on it, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. However, there's going to be people there who don't know much about Gematria and what it is, and I get to go and hopefully enlighten some people. And one thing I like about these types of deals is that maybe this convention won't be the biggest thing ever. Maybe it doesn't wake everybody up. But it's a start. And, there might be someone who attends this place that decides to take it upon themselves to start their own truther convention. And then maybe they'll give Gematria a bigger stage. That's what this is all about. It's about networking and growing this thing. And I don't agree necessarily with all of the presenters there either. I think those who present things that are based on the mainstream media, obviously I don't agree with that. And I wouldn't necessarily trust all of the speakers there, but I'm okay about going there by myself. Like, I'm a grown man. I have my plans about my attendance there. I'll be fine. So a lot of people, have been saying a lot of stuff about that, and I appreciate it. Because, honestly, like, if I do get to meet Mark Passio, I just want to have an honest conversation with the guy. Of course, I'm automatically suspicious of anybody who says that they're expounding truth and exposing the darkness, but they think Gematria is a coincidence. That's a little weird. Like, this is one of the most important parts of our reality. Whether or not it's an organic code, regardless of what you think of it, the fact that people brush it off and hide it tells me that they might be hiding it. But if, there's also the chance that he just doesn't know about it, or, he hasn't dived into it. It's not important to his part. I have to leave that possibility. Otherwise, what use is it? I mean, if I just go in there guns blazing and calling everybody a shill, how is that going to give me a better ability to present the knowledge that I want to share, that many possibly accepting minds are open to? So you just got to set those differences aside for a little bit. And, I guess I'm willing to do that for a little while. And I will, I'll talk to some of those speakers and just ask their opinion on what I'm sharing. And, it's to me, like I said, I do this because Gematria to me is the most fascinating thing. The way the geometric universe expresses itself through language is so fascinating. And, I do have an idea about it, and I feel quite certain that we're being lied to, because you can see it on people's faces in the news. I mean, it's not only numerology that gives me reasons to think that we're being lied to every day. But again, the code based in the Kabbalah, based in the belief that God created the world by merging the letter and the number, and we ourselves, as inhabitants of God's world, are also creating by the letter and the number each and every day. And I think the more cognizant we become to that, the better off we'll be in the long run. So yeah, thanks to the everybody but the first person here who jumped into the chat. The rest of you are awesome and cordial. So yeah, thanks for popping in. And that'll do it for this video. We'll talk to all you guys pretty soon. See ya.